For years now, Syria has been ravaged by war. The dire humanitarian conditions, time and again, month after month, year after year, have been discussed, analyzed, and debated. But still, the conditions remain indescribable. It's a homeland marred by conflict, a failing economy, and no respite in sight. At the worst receiving end of the unending violence are Syria's children. The next report tells you more about this.
This is what a nation that's been buried under the misery and destruction of war looks like. Amid acres of ruins are families that survived an onslaught of violence. Half-torn buildings are remnants of a normal community that was. And at the epicenter of conflict are the children of Syria, little ones whose eyes have seen violence, blood, and destruction, at an age when they were only meant to see joy and look forward to a bright future. For some of these children, their tomorrow hangs by a thread. But for many tiny hands, every last shred of hope seems to have been snatched. In the rebel-controlled city of Idlib, private school is back in session. At first glance, everything seems normal, as though beyond the school gates, there is no conflict, no violence. Only a privileged few get to enter this building and walk these hallways. A handful of families that aren't financially crippled by a war-ravaged economy are funding the private schools. But for most Syrians, uprooted and impoverished, sending their children to school is a far-fetched dream. Al-Assad is a father of 10 children. His family was displaced because of the war and they live in a refugee camp. Only 4 of his kids are able to attend school. The other 6 work a slew of jobs to support the family in these harsh times.
I don't have the means to enroll my children in private schools. It's impossible for me. People are displaced and there is no work. There is no money and very little work. 4 of my children are in school and that's costing me a lot. I hope that schools will receive more financial support so I can enroll my children there.
This isn't just Assad's story. Thousands like him are struggling to give their children basic education and ensure a better future. 16-year-old Sharif Baruch used to attend school until he was forced to drop out and work to keep his family afloat.
I used to attend school, but bombings were frequent, so we often had to go home. The bombings would resume the next morning. After that, I stopped studying and started working, then eventually returned to school. But there were more bombings. We were moving from one place to another and rents were expensive. Eventually, we couldn't afford to move anymore and I had to stop going to school. Every time I returned to school, there would be bombing.
Like Baruch, many children in Syria are forced to work and help their families survive a crippling economy. According to UN reports, 90% of the country's population is below the poverty line. While war plays a key role in creating such circumstances, whatever was left of the economy has been further destroyed by Western sanctions. In such conditions, when life and livelihood remain at risk, even hoping for affordable education sounds like a far-fetched fantasy. And thousands of Syrian children are paying the price of war as they helplessly stare at a grim life ahead.